Hello, my name is Pavneet Kaur. I'm going to present a presentation on the assignment 2 of DBS 311 course. I'm from group 3 and there are 3 members in my group. Pavneet Kaur with the student ID 128287216, Harpreet Singh with the student ID 155912207, and Tisha Rawat with the student ID 145286209. For the assignment 2 of DPS 311, we were supposed to make a C++ code which will help us to add a new order to our database. I will start the demonstration from the main execution point of this code, that is the main function here. Here we defined all the variables for our connection, environment, user name, password, and the connection to which we are going to connect. Here we created the environment and connection. Here we define two variables, a choose and a customer ID. The choose will be storing the option the user will choose, and the customer ID will store the customer ID which the user will enter. First of all, we are going to call the main menu function. Main menu function will return either 1 or 0. Let's see the main menu function here. If the user enters 1 or 0, it will proceed. If the user enter any other value, it will prompt the user to enter the correct value here, and then whatever value is entered by the user, it will return to the variable here. Let's say if the user enters 1, that means the user wants to log in, then it will prompt for the customer ID. This customer ID will be passed to the customer login function. Customer login function is here. In this function, we are calling the stored procedure find customer, which we defined here in our SQL file. It will return the customer IDs it will return the customers with the same customer ID which we will pass to it. Here we are passing the customer ID to this stored procedure. It will return the number of customer with the same customer ID. And there are all other procedures, stored procedures which we defined for our code. Find product, which will return the price of the particular product which we will enter, and add order procedure, which will add a order for a particular customer which we will pass to it, and then add order item will add the order which the user will enter to the order item list. And here let's go back to the code again. The customer login is going to call the find customer procedure. Here we are defining the input parameters, and here we are setting the in parameters for our procedure, and here we are setting the out parameters for our procedure. From here, the execution will start. It is going to call the find customer ID. We are passing the customer ID which the user entered to the stored procedure named find customer. It will return the number of customers which it will find from our database, will return the number of customers to this function. If the number of customers is equal to 0, that means we found no customer with the customer ID we entered. It will print the customer does not exist. If there is a customer, then we are setting a maximum number of values, or the number of orders that a customer can add to the cart, that is 5. Then we will call the add to cart function, and here in the add to cart function, it will prompt for the product ID, and it is going to call the find product function here, which will return the product that it will find in our database. Here, we the find product function is getting a connection string and the product ID, which we will pass to it. It will call the find product stored procedure from our SQL file and will return us the price of that product, and we will go back to our add to cart function here. Here, if the product does not exist, that means the product ID does not match to any of the product ID in our database, then it will reprint that the product does not exist. If the product does exist, then it will prompt for the price and the quantity. Here it will store all the values in our struct variables, that means the local variables that we defined here at the top of our code here for product ID and the price and the quantity. And then after this, it will prompt if the user wants to add more products or not. If the user wants to add more product, then the user will enter 1. If the user wants to check out, then the user will enter 0. Let's say the user entered 0 here. If user is entering 0, then the function will return the value to the call of this function here. And then when the user is done with adding products to its cart, then it will print the products to the screen. Then we will call the display products function here. The display products function will print all the information, the product ID, price and quantity to the screen with the help of the local variables that we defined here. And after this, we will call the checkout function if the user wants to check out. Then whether the user wants to check out or not. If the user enters either capital or small y or n, that means the values are correct. If the user enters any other letter other than y or n, it will prompt the user to enter the values again. If the user enters n, that means the order is cancelled. If the user enters y, that means we will add the order to our database. It will call the stored procedure add order, which will add the whole order that we created here to our list. And after this is done, this will call the add order item stored procedure that will get 5 parameters: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will get all the information that we entered here, and it will add these values to our database. After the order is added successfully, it will print the order is successfully completed, and it will terminate the statement here. After everything is done, our code is going to print the goodbye function. Here we will terminate the connection and the environment. If any error occurs, then it is going to call the catch, and it will print the error message here. Now let's execute our code. Okay, It is prompting us to either enter 1 or 2. Let's say we want to log in, we enter 1. It's prompting for customer ID. We entered 1000. There is no customer with the customer ID 1000. We need to enter a customer ID which is there in the database. So let's say we entered 44. Sorry, it asks for a option whether we want to log in or we want to exit. We entered a wrong value, 44. That is not present in the option, so it's prompting us to enter a valid value, that is either 0 or 1. Let's say we entered 1, and here we are going to enter a valid customer ID, that is 44. There is a customer with the customer ID 44, that's why it is prompting for the product ID. Here the order starts from here. We will enter the product ID 112, and it printed the price of that product, and it's prompting for the quantity that we want to order. Let's say we enter 2. Do we want to add more products to our cart or not? Let's say we want to add more products. We entered 1. We will enter another product ID 115. Here is the price of the product with the product ID 115, and we will enter the quantity that we want to add. Do we want to add more products or not? If we want to check out, then we will enter 0. Let's say we want to check out, we enter 0. Here it printed the entire order for us. There are 2 items in our order. Here is the total of our order. Would you like to check out or not? Let's say but we want to check out, but let's say if we enter G here, not the Y or N, we entered G here, is going to prompt again, either enter Y or enter N. Doesn't matter capital or small. Let's say we entered Y. We want to check out. Here, our order is successfully completed. It will prompt us either to log in again or to exit. We want to exit, so we are going to enter 0 here. Goodbye. Our code is successfully executed. So our order has been added to our database. Here in our order database. So this was our presentation or the execution of our code that we created for our assignment 2. I hope you like this video.